Hey everyone, and welcome to the Mae Cave. My name is Megan, and today I'm bringing you a book review, which also happens to be the last video of the year for my channel. I hadn't planned it this way. I had wanted to do this book review earlier in the month after I finished this book, but it completely slipped my mind after I did all my other videos, and I wanted to get those out. And I finally realized yesterday that I hadn't actually even filmed this video yet, so hopefully this will go up before the end of the year. But it's okay. Book reviews. I like book reviews, so let's just go with it. So today I'm reviewing Saving Meghan by DJ Palmer. I received this as an art copy from the publisher who contacted me on Instagram. This book does not actually come out until April of next year, so hopefully I can create a little hype for it, I guess. So this book is about a young teenager named Meghan. She's about 16 years old, and her parents, Becky and Carl. So for the past 2 years, she has been sick with general symptoms, fatigue, dizziness, a little bit of depression, loss of appetite, that kind of thing, to the point where she now doesn't go to school and she doesn't play sports like she used to. Or in fact, she just doesn't. She's just at home all day on her phone, which is about all she can do. And this has turned her mom into a full-time researcher trying to figure out what's up with her daughter, because for the past 2 years, no doctor has been able to tell them specifically, hey, it's this disease or this cancer or something that's causing the daughter to be sick all the time. And they just don't know what it is. She's just generally sick all the time with no real reason, nothing for them to try and treat or cure. So it's turned her mom into a researcher. She has a whole file cabinet full of information on her daughter's sickness, on diseases that it could be, diseases that it isn't, and that they ruled out or something. And it's just how their life has been for the past 2 years. And this obviously puts strain on their marriage between Becky and Carl, and strain, of course, on the daughter and her relationship with her parents. And then one day, her symptoms become harsher and stronger, and this makes other doctors intervene. And then they suspect that Meghan has Munchausen by proxy, which is a rare behavioral disorder, a rare behavioral disorder in which the parent or caretaker of the child goes to the hospital or seeks medical help of some kind for made-up symptoms that the child has. But at this point, it's more like the child doesn't realize that they're not sick, and the symptoms is something that their body is doing because they're so psychologically attached to what the caretaker is saying that they have, that the body just does it. You know, it's almost like the placebo effect, so to speak. Like, oh, I'm telling you you're sick, so you feel sick kind of thing. But the child doesn't know what's happening, and most of the time the caretaker doesn't realize that they're doing it either, but it's considered medical abuse. And then the mother, Becky, is the one suspected of this, and it goes in this whole thing is whether or not does she have Munchausen, does she maybe have this other disease that she could have, or is something darker and deeper happening? And that's where the story goes from there. I'm obviously not going to tell you anything more because I'll just spoil it. But that's the general plot of what's going on. Now, this is touted as a thriller, and I think it is kind of thrillery, but it's kind of more, to me, a medical drama, in the sense, like a medical mystery. Like, they don't know what's wrong with her and they're trying to figure out what. And then the thriller doesn't come until a little bit later in the book. But I guess it could still be considered a thriller. I actually really enjoyed this book. I enjoyed the characters. They were definitely unique. They weren't boring. Becky is really obsessed with her daughter's illness. She has created this whole online forum of friends that support her because no one else in her life really understands what she's going through. Even her husband doesn't quite. He isn't at a level of obsession that she is. He's kind of more like, okay, our daughter's sick sometimes. Maybe she's faking it. Maybe she's not. I don't know. And his character is kind of back and forth. So her character is very consistent with what she wants. She wants to help her daughter get better, and she wants to cure or treat whatever it is her daughter has. But her husband, Carl, is more like, well, I'm not even sure anymore. It's been 2 years. We don't know. There's no physical signs. Her heart rate is always normal. Her blood pressure is always normal, yada, yada, yada. I'm not even sure if she has anything. And then he starts to believe the Munchausen thing, that maybe his wife needs psychological help and his daughter needs psychological help, and he's kind of siding with the hospital and the lawyers and everything. So that creates more tension within their marriage. And then Megan's character, so the viewpoints are from Becky and from Megan, and I think there's a few in there from Carl. And Megan, she's kind of hard to decipher. So she has some secrets, and then when she comes to the doctor, she's so used to being poked and prodded and told what to do by doctors that she just automatically does it. So when they interview her to see whether or not she is indeed being controlled by her mother in that way, she doesn't really know what they want yet, because they obviously haven't told her, oh, we think your mom is medically abusing you. but she doesn't really know what they want, and she just says what she thinks they want, and that kind of creates more trouble for them. And the whole time you're wondering, does she really have Munchausen or does she have another disease? This whole time you don't really know. It could go either way depending on what's, like, the signs are there for both. So it's not really clear until the end and they tell you. I actually think it should have gone the other way than what the ending did, but I'll get to that in a second. But Megan's character, she's very almost blasé just because she's so used to everyone telling her what to do and this disease or sickness controlling her life that she's just kind of there now. And she has opinions, but they're only strong about a few things, and she's not really... I think she's just so ingrained in how her life is now that she doesn't really care a lot anymore. And that's hard to decipher from her point of view what she may have, if she has the Munchausen or if she has this other disease. And that kind of plays into it too, because you can't just look at her and say, oh, you know, maybe she is sick by Munchausen and, you know, by this is what she said, but you can't really tell. And I kind of like that. It kind of keeps that thriller mystery part of it going, because you're never sure until the end of the book what she has. And then for the end of the book, when it ends, I shouldn't have said that, how it ties everything together, it does tie everything up well. So all the loose ties and ends, and you figure out what she has and what's going on, and the darker and deeper something that could be happening. And it's okay. It's definitely a 180 from what I expected it to be. And it's a lot darker and twisted and more thriller, like it just full-on impacts thriller at the end of the book. But it wasn't kind of what I wanted. And in fact, what she has, whether it's the disease or Munchausen, what they ended up saying that she has is different than what I thought it would be. But I almost feel like it could be both. I mean, because they also have to look at Becky's history, which I'm not going to tell you, just so you can figure it out through the book. But because the history of the mother is important in this and how she is now. It's a very interesting book, and I do like the ending parts of it. I like how Becky and Megan and Carl lead their life at the end once everything is done with. But the part of which they figure things out is just kind of, I don't know, a little dramatic, I would say. Very dramatic, and not really what I expected or what I wanted. But it's there, so it's not the best ending. And on top of that, Carl, throughout the whole book, he's very back and forth on whether or not he believes his wife or he believes the doctors. And you never really know if he's on the side or if he's just so confused he doesn't know what he wants. But you don't find out at the end. He doesn't give like a reasoning for why he did this, that, or the other. He's just there. And I can't say anymore because that would spoil the ending. But overall, I really did enjoy this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Maybe like a 3.75, but, you know, on Goodreads it's a 4 stars. And I would definitely recommend it if you like anything that's medical or thriller, or like you're trying to figure out this puzzle. What does she have? What doesn't she have? And speaking of the medical jargon, she actually did pretty good on that. As far as I can tell, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but going through nursing school, as far as I can tell from what she says in here and that she actually explains things, she did her research for the medical stuff. I don't know if the author is in the medical field or if she's just an author or what, but she did pretty well, and I like that she actually explained things instead of just saying, oh, the doctor did these 3 things and just kind of throwing things out there. She actually said, oh, the doctor did this, and this is what that means, but not so much that you felt like the medical jargon was just in your face. It was enough that you understood what was going on, and you can kind of get a picture of the room at the hospital and what's going on in there, but it's not in your face, and I actually really like that. So that was really nice to see good medical jargon and an actual, you know, scene that would have happened in real life in the book. So, like I said, I would recommend this book definitely to people who like this kind of book, but even if you don't, I think it'd be a good book to kind of get into thrillers because it's not edge of your seat thriller the whole time, and I kind of liked it. So I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I picked it up, or I'm glad I said yes to getting a copy, and that's about it for the review of this book. So let me know down below if you're interested in this book, if you've heard of it before, or you probably haven't. I don't know how long it's been out in the circuit of, you know, ARC books, but yeah, let me know whatever else you want to know in the comments below. You can ask me questions, you can say hello. But for now, this is my last video, and I'll see you in the new year. Bye.